Hey guys, Blackbard here, bringing you an update to what I've been up to lately. And just to preface this, I have started off in the last couple of weeks here, or a couple of days since the last patch. And all of these free spaces here had legendaries and uniques and stuff that I was testing things out in, and about half of this, and that all got deleted. So I'm a bit behind on actually producing new builds. I apologize for that. There's a lot of stuff coming out of our group, the Lords of Mayhem, which we have a Discord, which I'll post below. You can feel free to join there. We got some guys coming up with some cool builds. This variation is one of TWalk's that I am going to kind of not steal. Well, we made some adjustments to it. We worked on it together to make it a little bit more efficient, but he came up with the original idea. So, as you can see, I'm not using a Smile the Searing Song because it doesn't work together with this build, and I'll tell you why once we're done with going over the gear. The gear, really, all you're looking for is max health. You're looking for toughness is always good, ferocity is always good. Unfortunately, I have a lot of wisdom items, but it works out either way. Just everything with life and toughness. Really, that's about it. And sockets on here because they get you a lot of max health, which is good. The other main point here that you can see is Envoy of War is good. Attack damage is a multiplier, so this is a lot of damage. I think if I take these off, I lose 200 DPS. It's pretty good. Pretty good, and that's a low roll on these. Unfortunately, right now the heal is not working, so the health gain per rage point isn't working at all, so don't get it for that. If I had a choice, I would have Argons here on both slots because it adds a lot of flat damage, an extreme amount of flat damage and material damage, and that bumps your damage up a lot, but I haven't gotten any. So the only other change that I would make is actually swapping in an O'Malley's for this strap here, and then a 3 Crowns brooch. I don't have a 3 Crowns brooch. It was one of the things that got deleted, so unfortunately I cannot make that change. Now I will tell you why I cannot make that change here right now. In order to make this build work, because it is one of the infinite jumpy builds, you have to have a breakpoint of, I believe, about 90 stamina regeneration speed. And what that does is it gets your stamina regeneration all the way down here at the bottom, down to about 0.3. You can work with about 0.7, 0.6, all the way down to 0.3. It works perfectly. See, if you take one of these items off, you jump all the way up to 1.1. You can't deal with that. So I can't just swap in my O'Malley's. But, so what we're going to do is we're going to put in flawed barrels in each of these spots. They don't have to have any specific stats. Your best stats are definitely going to be like an Omnistar here with 20 flat to all skills, 2 attack mods, and a crit mod. That's the best. 2 attack mods and a crit mod on hopefully a steel ring. That way you get more crit. But it has to have a socket. So I just kind of go with what stuff didn't get deleted and was the best that I had. Optimally here, you could go with either the O'Malley's if you have a 3 Crowns brooch, or with a Champion's Girdle. Again, double attack damage and the crit damage. And then same thing over there. So that's kind of your best case scenario. You could also theoretically switch these two and go with a 3 Crowns brooch here, and then a Seal the Arbiter. It's good. It does technically give you more damage, but it's not. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as this consistently. The O'Malley's just gives you survivability with dodge because you don't have a lot of health. You have up to about 5k, which is really not a whole lot. You have status ailment chance score, which actually makes things a little bit easier in here. You get magic find, which is terrific. You get crit hit chance. You get all attributes. This is all around amazing. So if you can get this in here versus this, your quality of life will be a lot better, even though you might do slightly less damage. But damage is not something we're short on. So The other option is throwing one of these in, Afraid Combat Cleat, 35 agilities, pretty big boost. I mean, you can see here, I actually get a 1% flat damage increase. I get almost 400, 500 DPS out of that, and I get some more dodge score comparatively. 4% dodge, not bad. In combination with this and the 3 Crowns Brooch, I mean, you're going to be something up at like 20% dodge. It's a pretty good combo. So, yeah, those are the plan. The plan is 3 Crowns Brooch, one of these, maybe throw another one of these over there, and then get 2 Argons, and then this build is pretty much done. So maybe just fine-tune out these. Now you can see on my weapons I have very, very specific attack mods in the gems in here as well. You want to have more Aether damage than weakness. Just whatever ones you have the highest rolls on. That's why I have 2 of these as opposed to just 5 Aether damage ones, just because I haven't been collecting them properly, and a whole bunch of them got deleted. So Mace here, triple damage stats, and then crit chance and or Leech. Leech is really good, and crit hit damage, and or material percent damage. Same thing on here, just you need to have a dagger. It does work out to be more damage for single target on this if you have a dagger, just because of some of the other stuff we do with our skills. And I'll get into that now. Let's go straight into skills. So first things first is going to be our shout. It's kind of the basic, all 5 of these center ones. Grants rage per enemy hit, not a big deal there. Health globes spawning from this ability, just all of your attacks create a ton of globes in combination with the effectiveness of all your buffs are increased. It's ridiculous how many globes this makes, especially in AoE. Increase the duration of the skill. This means it can basically be used back to back to back to back. It makes it last long enough to do so. And then increases all your resistances, which is just survivability in this case, because we're not using retaliation. Next up is going to be your damage dealer, which is Bleeding Edge. If you're having problems with survivability because you're doing higher level stuff, you want to keep, this one's going to be the same, Unstoppable Momentum, for all of the Bleeding Edge builds, so you can keep it spinning. And then you're going to increase your bleed chance, area of effect, and rotation speed. If you're going through lower content and you're going through it, you're just breezing through it, you can swap these 2 out and pick up the axe following you along with, and then keep the rotational speed. The rotational speed is just a huge DPS and quality of life increase. So again, I'm doing higher content, so I want to leave those behind and kind of leave and then come back and drop 1 or 2 and then leave and then come back so I don't die. Next up is going to be your Wings of Ishmar. Ishmir, excuse me. This is why we stack as much stamina as we do. No longer has a cooldown and uses up a stamina point. So you can see I don't have the extra ones. I don't need it. You can just sit here if it doesn't bug out and cast way too often. I can use this, and you can see I'm at full rage, so and it bugs out if you use it way too fast. So don't do that. Anyway, coming back in here, back to the skills. The other things that we really need the flight speed, increased damage and stun impact. You can use, I would swap out stun impact for rage generation or knockback if you're solo and you're really, again, having problems with survivability. But this mod doesn't really matter. It can be any one of these 3. Just keep it to where there's no cooldown, increase that damage, and increase flight speed. I find personally that this node here, you really have problems getting that damage to hit things really close to you, and that's the majority of the time you're spamming it a lot. So I get rid of this one because it bugs out, doesn't always do damage, and it's just inconsistent. Next up is my Mark of Impurity. This is literally just for things that are hard to kill. So any of your yellow mobs, any of your orange mobs, and any of your bosses. It's all it's for. You don't use it anywhere else. So the only thing that we care about is making it last longer, slowing the target, making it more vulnerable so you do more damage, increase the critical damage it takes, and then this one doesn't really, more likely to be afflicted by ailments, always good. So these 5, are mandatory. This one doesn't help any spreading, and the normal like spread explosions don't help us because we're just putting it on bosses. And that's why we have the dagger. It actually increases our single target higher than if you just had 2 maces. Last but not least is going to be our chain pull. Pulling from all directions is always good. Deals rend damage, which applies stacks when applying a bleed. It is helpful for, and I'll explain why in the passive tree. If you're having problems getting your stuff to proc with the ailments, pop this off and you'll have no problems. And then reduce cooldown so you can use it really whenever you need to. Coming into the passive tree, I'll explain. First off, the big thing that this is based after. You can see I come over here into Kabbalist, which might be kind of strange, but no, it's pretty awesome. Killing an enemy afflicted by ailments gives you a temporary damage boost. Okay, this boost is a lot. It is a multiplicative damage boost. So, stacks. Killing an enemy grants 15% damage for each ailment stack on that enemy, up to 5 stacks per damage type. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have 5 stacks on one guy when you kill him. It just means you have to have 1 on a whole bunch of guys when you kill him, and it stacks out all the way up to 5, and you're good to go. You can move on with your damage. It is extremely noticeable when your Wings of Ishmar, when you're bouncing, goes from like 12k, 15k, 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 30, 40k, and you're like, oh, okay, I got all my stacks. We're good to go. We want to come up here so that we can inflict 2 different kinds of stacks at the same time, ailment stacks at the same time. Again, this applies, the 5 stacks is per damage type, so you just have to apply multiple different kinds of ailments. We swing over here for these attack damage nodes. These are all multiplicative. These are massive. I have compared these to this over here, 20% material damage, and this seems to be additive, so it's not very good. So by comparison to these, attack flat, just ridiculous multiplicative attack and crit hit damage. The attack damage there. And then again, while we're coming through here, is for 10% damage. These are also multiplicative, and they're global, so it boosts everything. The only other really important stuff is I have some points over here for maximum health, because honestly, we don't really need any damage, and all you really need is more health. Then you have additional crit chance score. This is super helpful because we're using it in combination with this over here, Merciless Lethality. The more you can crit, the more you take advantage of the 150% crit hit damage, which is massive. That's pretty much it when it comes down to here. These nodes are just for damage, and then the last one over here is your stamina regeneration, just to kind of push you up over the edge and get you from, I think without the 15er, you're running somewhere around 1 second per stamina regen, per stamina point regen. There we go, that's English. And then it bumps it down to 0.3. And that's pretty much it. The attributes here, I pretty much stacked all the way in ferocity, again, because we are going for the merciless node here, merciless lethality. Anytime you're doing that, you're stacking as much ferocity as you can. You don't care about anything else other than critting really hard. If you guys have any improvements that you think you can make to this, let me know. Test it out. Let me know what you think. This is not a pushing build. This is a grinding build. Although we are testing it in groups. An interesting interaction that was picked up by TWalk as well is that the buffs, when they drop off, these here, this counts for every type of ailment that's on those targets. That includes if a teammate is putting them up. So if you have 4 teammates, make sure that you are stacking all of the different ailment types. So you want somebody stacking lightning. You want somebody stacking fire. Let's see what our ailments are. Stun is not going to count towards anything because there's no stacks. Okay. Toxic, bleed, burn, freeze. Freeze doesn't have any stacks either, so this one doesn't count. Shock. Stasis, I don't believe is working. It doesn't have stacks the same way. Stasis is weird. But weakness... I'm sorry, shaded is the one that's acting weird. But it should be fine. Just get each person in your group, make sure that somebody's got fire and somebody's got shock. And then you are already taking care of stasis. You can easily take care of weakness. Bleed is easy. Toxic is easy. And then you're good to go. Then somebody can shade it and spread it to the entire group. And you'll notice your damage go up multiplicatively. So you got to think. Let's see. 5 times 15 is 75% damage increase per ailment type. You can increase that off of like 7 of those. So that's 500% damage increase. So you can make your one character do probably in the range. I'm guessing the top end is going to be somewhere around 80 to 100k once you're fully geared, which is insane to be doing with your leap that can cast that fast. 100k, 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 100k. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, so that's what we've been kind of working on. I am honestly hoping for some gear drops, hopefully some Argons. I really want to try out the new helm, Genesis helm. There's an ailment chest. There's a terrific ailment build that Red's been working on. I'll probably link that down there as well. He just put it up. He's a part of the Lords of Mayhem Discord group, and another streamer, good guy. I would just love to get some drops so I can make some more builds for you guys. I feel terrible. I've been grinding my ass off. I mean, you can see the amount of legendaries I have. I mean, I've been grinding a lot, and I got like 20 uniques last night, and probably 5 of them were edgies, and another 5 were zap sticks, and another 4 were I'm getting the worst items. So I hope at least my luck changes a little bit and I can get you guys some good builds here soon. In the meantime, you can at least take advantage of this build here, which is terrific at grinding legendaries and uniques. So we'll go from there and see how it goes. So yeah. I know this one was pretty a long one because there's just a lot of variation in it. And a lot of you can put your own stuff in it. But hopefully you guys enjoy it. And thanks again to TWalk and Red. And we will. I'll catch you later. Come by, drop into the stream. Let me know if you have any questions, you have any comments, anything, any concerns. Let me know, and we'll get it going. And definitely, I shouldn't have to say this. Really. Shouldn't have to say this. Please subscribe. Where's that? I think it's over there. Subscribe. Do it. Okay, do it to my Twitch channel too. Really shouldn't have to say that, but I feel like I have to. Anyway, we get off all this stupid stuff. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you guys later.